Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 7 of season 4 of our F125 Cadillac career mode. Yes, we return this weekend here for the Austrian Grand Prix on the reverse layout. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a few days ago from Montreal, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was unironically one of the most fascinating races I've ever had inside F125. It goes to show that when this game is good, it is damn good. And we had a lot of fun out last weekend at the Circuit de Villeneuve. Probably slightly helped by the fact that we took our second victory in a row. It means the gap at the top of the World Championship has been cut down to just 6 points between myself and Charles Leclerc. Between us, we have won the last 5 Grand Prix in a row. So I think it's very quickly becoming a 2-horse race up at the top of the championship. But obviously, with a lot of very, very fast tracks coming up, it is going to be difficult to try and keep up with those Ferraris. Constructors-wise, I still need Oscar Piastri to help us out a little bit more than he is. We are currently trailing Ferrari by 29 points as we close in on the halfway stage of the season. But as you can see, every team has scored apart from VCARB so far. So even down in the midfield, it has been wildly unpredictable throughout these opening few Grand Prix. Of course, yeah, if you're new around here, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel. We are closing in on 150,000 subs. And before we get into this one, I know what you're thinking. Matt, why on earth are you wearing McLaren merch? Well, today I can officially announce we have partnered up with Castor. They do all of the merch for McLaren and Alpine inside Formula 1. So you might notice that I'm wearing a couple of their tops from each of the teams in future videos. A massive thank you to Castor for sending this out for free. And if you want to pick up any merch, like I said, from McLaren and Alpine, use the link down in the description below. You help support the channel. And I believe as well we'll have a code down there as well that you can use as well. So yeah, like I said, use that link down in the description below. A massive thank you to Castor for sponsoring. And yeah, let's head then here to the Austrian Grand Prix.
High up in the mountains, here at Spielberg, it's time for qualifying on what will be the fastest laps of the season. Stand by for qualifying at the Austrian Grand Prix.
Well, I was really hoping this weekend we could try and see how close we can get to a sub 1 minute lap here at the Red Bull Ring. But it looks like we could see some changeable conditions. So, apparently Q3 might be dry. But honestly, when the session's like this, it can be wildly kind of unpredictable. So, first of all, I just want to focus on obviously trying to make sure that we make it into that third session. And then maybe there we'll see what the track conditions are like and whether we can chase that elusive 59-second lap time. I've not seen anyone manage it so far on F125. But with a maxed out My Team car, hopefully we're going to be able to get pretty close. I think last season here we were running like mid 101s, but of course the car has seen quite a few helpful upgrades. I also do believe for the most part, the reverse layout here I think is a couple of tenths a lap faster. Just obviously due to a couple of little weird nuances with it as well there. But so far then, this first lap, forgetting to activate the DRS as we plunge back down the hill. Yuki Tsunoda is currently my benchmark, but he's only on a 103. So we'll try and dive our way down through the final couple of corners. Oscar Piastri might give us a bit of a faint toe on the run to the line. 101.9, 2 tenths slower than Lando Norris, but that was far from a perfect lap. Well, those first runs then were critical for everybody there, so if you didn't get a lap in nice and early, you were going to be in big trouble. Lando Norris fastest, just ahead of both Cadillacs. Zach O'Sullivan gets that VCARB up into P4, so that would be a fantastic weekend if he could stay there. Tsunoda, George Russell, they'll both be very disappointed to go out in Q1, alongside Paul Aaron, Jack Crawford, and both Audis. Audi have looked so much better recently, so that is a bit of a shame for both of their German drivers. Q2, I believe, is intermediate conditions, and then hopefully it'll dry up again for Q3. Well, there we go then. By the end of Q2, the last of the rain has passed through the circuit, and everybody heading back out then for one lap of anger back on the soft compound tyres. So this will hopefully give us a bit more of an idea. Of course, the circuit does ramp up all the way into Q3 as well, so if we can't quite get there this time, there will be more opportunities. It's just like trying to use the battery in all of the right places as well. This circuit can be very bumpy though, as look at that, 200 mile an hour approach speed in towards turn 3. Purple through that first sector was first and foremost. All well and good trying to chase that sub 1 minute. But of course, you know, we've got to try and make it into Q3 and get the lap time that we need on the board. Solly Behrman there goes fastest, but everybody is improving. Solov almost dips down into the 101s. So I would have thought that's hopefully where we're going to be aiming for here by the end of qualifying, as I believe it's Sainz fastest. Now, there you go, Charles Leclerc, 101.5, so times are getting quicker and quicker as we make our way down the hill. Esteban Ocon 101.4, so we could definitely get a 1 minute lap time here if I get it absolutely nailed through the final corner, get the power down on the run back towards the line. It is going to be a 101.4. We go P1 in Q2. And there we go then. Are there any major surprises? Oscar Piastri does squeak by barely down in P9, just ahead of the Aston Martin of Gabriel Bortoletto. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, he'll be pretty disappointed to be out there slowest on the board, of course, with his first Austrian Grand Prix for the Red Bull team. Zach O'Sullivan, who looks so quick in Q1, unfortunately also out. So it's going to be Esteban Ocon that has to fly the Red Bull flag this weekend through Q3. But what's that? 7 different drivers from 7 different teams inside your top 7. That's pretty good going. 8 different teams in Q3. Well, the circuit is going to continue to get more and more rubber put into it. Of course, in Q2, some of that rubber got washed away. So every lap now, we will hopefully see a bit of an evolution in this track there. As again, want to try and maximise the ERS use. Ready to start the lap, but braking really late there. Trying to hope that the camber will carry the car in towards those first couple of corners. I know there's a couple of tenths to find through turn 1 and turn 2. But the rest of the lap was pretty good there. I'm going to avoid that curb through turn 4 this time round. And purple in that first sector then. Oh, careful of that wall on the outside. It'll catch a car and rip the wheel off if given any opportunity. And then up through the top of the circuit there, fighting the back end of the car as best as we can. But we are up in the green at the moment, 4 tenths up. Could this be a 1 minute lap time here as we try and get the car nice and tidy through the hairpin? Get a good run off of the corner, but I think we've used a bit more battery in the early stages of this lap so far. We'll have to just try and save a little bit. Ready to get the run through that final corner. Braking at the 100 meter board there. Chuck the car in 4th gear. Tried to hang on to it on the run back towards the line. What is it going to be? 101.0. We need half a tenth here on the final run. Surely this is doable. One final opportunity then. One last chance to try and put ourselves in the history books. We need 55 thousandths of a second to set about 1 minute flat lap time as we try and get the run out of the final corner. Let's just make sure we keep it clean and tidy through the first part of the lap. I really need to focus up now if I want to try and nail this. Oh, nice and tidy again, just a bit smoother. Smooth is good, smooth is fast on the early couple of stages of the lap. And then the rest of it, we've really got to try to attack. It is all about maximising width, trying to give yourself the best run you possibly can there as well. Getting a little bit of understeer, so close to that wall on the outside. Definitely compromise ourselves a bit of speed there. And then as we make our way up through the top of the circuit, avoiding the wheel spin too badly as we climb up the hill. Are we going to see anybody else go quicker? We have locked down that pole position, but we are trying to chase a barrier that will define Formula 1 in years to come. Still about a tenth down. We're going to have to send it through those final couple of corners. Use a little bit more battery as we make our way down. Braking super late. Really attack the curb there through the final corner. Can we get the run back around towards the line? We are still half a tenth up. 1 minute 0.9. We have done it. Well, there we go. We definitely trimmed the apex through that final corner, but I'm pretty certain the 2 rear wheels were on the circuit, and then obviously the 2 front wheels were back inside track limits. 1 minute 0.967. I think for me personally, there is not a lot more that I could get out of that Formula 1 car there, but Cadillac with a front row lockout as well. That is super, super important as we head into the race today. Charles Leclerc, though, my main championship rival, will line up 3rd ahead of Esteban Ocon. Let's not forget, if we win this one, we will take the lead of the World Championship, irrespective of where Charles Leclerc finishes. Can we make it 3 wins in a row? Let's find out.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve. It was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Isaac Hadjar lines up on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Ocon, Lando Norris, and Bortoleto, Soloff, Sainz, Gasly, and Pepe Marti, Colapinto, Doohan, Ollie Behrman, and O'Sullivan, Stroll, Antonelli, Tim Tramnitz, and Nico Hulkenberg, Russell, Crawford, Sonoda, and Paul Aaron rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Well, here we are then, down on the grid, ready for the Austrian GP. I'm looking forward to this one. This is going to be a big race, though, and plenty of opportunity. But, that being said, this race can also be chaos quite regularly inside F1 25. So I want to stay towards the front, stay out of trouble. I'm hoping it's going to be the most boring race in the world if we want to win a world championship this season. But when does it ever work like that inside this game? The 5 red lights are on, though, here in the Styrian Mountains. And 5 red lights are out, and it is lights out. And away we go there, or not for us. We've had a terrible start. Ocon and Piastri will immediately look to the inside. So will Lando Norris. Oh, in towards cell 1 there, so I guess we kind of bogged down Charles Leclerc in that launch as well. So we will hang on then in P3 as Leclerc's dropped all the way down to 6th place. It's Gabriel Bortoleto trying to make a move as we make our way in towards Sector 2. Just got to be very careful in the early stages here. Any understeer can prove critical, and let's not forget tyre wear around this track as well is absolutely brutal. It can be a real killer inside this game, so yeah, got to make sure that we avoid doing anything like that. Got to avoid taking too much risk early on. Ease the car into the stimp. Make sure that we are comfortable with our machinery underneath us there. Maybe we just set the car up a little bit more towards qualifying pace. But as long as we beat Charles Leclerc today, I'm happy to try and work with Oscar. I do really want to win the Constructors' Championship as well for Cadillac this season. So if we obviously, if we need to help Oscar to make sure the team gain more points over Ferrari, that could still be very useful. I mean, 110 lap time from a standing start there is nothing short of staggering, isn't it? These cars, I know I keep going on about it, but they are so ludicrously quick as to the inside of Esteban Ocon. This is not normally where you see overtakes happen, but we'll try and get around the outside through the exit of the corner. The Red Bull man, he would love a podium at the team's home Grand Prix. Can we go all the way around the outside, though? Yes, we can. And up then back into P2 of this race. And hopefully I can leave Ocon and Norris to squabble. But there we go. By the end of lap 4, then, we've got back in the range of Oscar Piastri. But we have had to use a lot of battery to try and get back here. So I'm going to try and just recharge the pack up a little bit more over these next couple of laps. But yeah, Ferrari getting embroiled in all these battles going on a little bit further behind. It's really given both Cadillacs an opportunity to scamper away at the front. Leclerc, I mean, he is still down in P6 at the moment. Oh, you can just see there, Oscar Piastri, though, cannot get that turn 1 quite figured out. But yeah, I need to recharge the pack so we got enough to attack him. I'd hope, I mean, if you were Cadillac right now, if you were team principal, would you already be starting to play the number 1, the number 2 driver role at this stage of the campaign? I don't really know. Oscar's not a million miles away, and it might be good to keep him on our positive side. That being said, though, of course, rumours circling that Lando Norris could be interested in joining the team next year from Ferrari. That could certainly create some spice. But I don't want to get too confident too early on this afternoon, but the opening laps have really been a message sent in Ferrari's direction. We are pulling out nearly a second a lap still on Lando Norris early on in this GP. Yeah, Oscar Piastri really has been dragging us along for a little while now. But I think as we get towards, the pit stop window, we're going to have to start trying to have a look for a move.
Make use of the overtake button and see what you can do.
Yeah, happy to work together, of course, for quite a while in this race, but when it seems like he's got the pace over Lando anyway, obviously we can afford to hopefully have a little bit of a battle with our teammate. But yeah, Charles Leclerc now moving his way through most of that slightly slower traffic. But, I mean, yeah, it's so easy, obviously, if you just have a bad qualifying, especially when how close the times seem to be. Qualifying, definitely the pace seems to be closer than race pace. You know, if you lose, say, 6-7 laps trying to fight your way back through to where you should be, already the other cars are gone, and where the speed between this Cadillac and the Ferrari is so close generally, it can be near impossible to make that back up. I've fallen victim of it a couple of times as well inside this series. Let's see what kind of speed we can get down the hill. I mean, look at that, up over 220 miles an hour down in towards the final corner. Let's see if we can get a run then back in towards turn 1 there. I don't think we're quite going to be close enough. Yes, we are actually. So Oscar Piastri there won't even bother defending it for us. And a bit like Ferrari back in 2002, that almost kind of looked choreographed. Well, tyre wear warning light flashing up then as we get towards the end of lap 16, but still the gap at the front opening up now, almost 4 seconds clear of Oscar Piastri. But I've been watching the gap between him and Lando. He's not really pulling away anymore, but that gap is staying pretty stable at about 8 seconds then in this race. It's all braking at the 100-meter ball there, pretty much as late as you'd want to into the pit lane, and make sure we get it slowed down there. I mean, it's always good when I remember to make sure that I give my camera enough storage space on my PC. Apologies there, but yeah, the brakes so good on this Cadillac car as well. It feels like it stops on a dime on pit lane entry as Lando Norris then diving in.
We're delighted with that. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
I mean, this has got to be one of the most awkward pit lanes in all of Formula 1, but we're going to come out just behind Charles Leclerc then. Would be great if we could overtake him on the road this lap. But yeah, Charles Leclerc not even being given priority pit stop down at Ferrari, so clearly he's not getting, you know, complete #1 status within the team, but you can see how much we're gaining on him as we head back up towards the top of the circuit here. I mean, we are closing in rapidly. Fresh hard tyres versus dead mediums makes a huge difference. Yep, we're going to keep trying to push on then, so hopefully, I mean, we shouldn't get undercut by Piastri anyway in this race. So look at that, Leclerc got no speed up over the top of the hill. See if we can try and get a run then on Leclerc down in towards the final corner. Up to 220 miles an hour, of course, he almost cut across the nose there to make sure he gets into the pit lane. And then powering down towards the start-finish line. We will be back into the lead of the Grand Prix by the time we get to half distance. One, just trying to send it into one. Come on. In many ways, I'm hoping that we can just control this race to the flag. Oh, we got yellows. We got yellows. That might be... I think that's a Williams breaking down then in this Grand Prix. So I think that might be Pepe Marti, who have been having a fantastic run through the early stages of this afternoon after a brilliant qualifying yesterday. Nope, it's Franco Colapinto out of the race. So yeah, he was doing very, very well early on. But the high altitudes here can really push a Formula 1 engine. And the Argentinian is the first to crack. Oh, we've got more yellows. We've got more yellows down in turn 1. And it's another Mercedes engine. This time in the back of one of their factory cars. They're George Russell out of the Grand Prix. I mean, he was having a pretty terrible day out anyway. Right towards the back of the pack, but 2 Mercedes power engines going bang, and they will not be happy about that.
Come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
There you go, Russell stricken, well, on the outside of turn 1, too busy trying to spot him rather than focusing on where the apex is. But Cadillac, Ferrari still in your top 4. Getting a little bit worried. Looks like Oscar is just steadily dropping closer and closer to Lando Norris's clutches. Do I drop back and try and help our teammate? I think we just need the win. What goes to show just how good the teams are in qualifying, but how big the margin can still be come race day Sunday. Ollie Behrman here getting lapped at just 2/3 race distance, as he will be very cheeky and make sure that he gets the DRS down the hill. But yeah, disappointing season so far for Ollie Behrman. I mean, he's just not that good in this game. Always seems to crash out or have mechanical failures. I think he's been very unlucky as well. But yeah, Behrman running last today. And I don't think he's going to finish any higher. Oh no, there are some cars pitting. Was not expecting a 2-stop strategy be the way to go. But, I mean, these hards, we are just running consistent 103s there. As, oh, Pepe Marti, come on, man. Oh, that's a little bit scary. The pit lane exit here, if they ever wanted to do this in real life, would need a huge rework. Oh no, what is Pepe Marti doing? Come on, man. We don't need to have this kind of battle at this stage of the day. You're a lap down. I know you've hard tyres of pressure. What's he doing? Pepe Marti getting in the way. I mean, that is ridiculous from the Spanish driver there. Just completely, just would not get on the throttle on the exit. And now he's trying to fight me down in towards the final few corners. Luckily, the front wing damage shouldn't be too bad on the car. But that is so stupid. See, that is how a blue flag should work. Paul Aaron comes out of the first corner, gets out of the way immediately, makes it obvious, and then I'm sure he won't dive bomb me again. Pepe Marti, that's who you need to learn from. That's not ideal. Huge lock-up up at the top of the hill late on in the day, and just when I thought we were on a Sunday drive home there, luckily we had a decent margin over Oscar Piastri. That gap, though, was going to be really slashed. But would rather do that and lose a few more seconds than risk hitting the wall. Come on, we've still got 9 seconds-ish. Let's just hang on. Well, as we are about to start the last lap then here of the Austrian Grand Prix, I hope that Pepe Marti knows he has now made an enemy for life inside this series. Still not happy with him, with what he did there up at the top of the circuit, but we've got to kind of move past that. We've got to focus on the much bigger storyline today, because for the first time really all season, in a dry race, we have absolutely dominated when it comes up against Ferrari there. Oscar Piastri, it has been a brilliant drive for second place there. I see Zach O'Sullivan and Tim Tramnitz just having a bit of a battle just in front of me, as they will both jump out of the way then up towards the top of the circuit. But this is huge for Cadillac. This is a huge result for us, and clearly the last couple of races, as this car is becoming more and more competitive, we have found something extra this weekend. Whether it's just this track specifically that suits the car very well, whether we're in for a really good time through the next few rounds this season, only time will tell. Maybe it's the setup. Matt212 Racing, there's a link down in the description below if you want to head over and access all of my setup data. Oh, inside F125 is Zach O'Sullivan almost running into the side of me there, but in towards the final few corners for the first time ever in our My Team series on F125. We are going to take the lead of the Drivers' World Championship. It's a huge day for Cadillac. It is a huge day for Isaac Hadjar. It is going to be P1 here at the Red Bull Ring.
And it's victory today for Isaac Hadjar.
And of course, what 3 race victories, a hat-trick of wins, does for a driver's confidence is huge going forward in the championship. You know, they've got the energy on their side now, and it's for the others to try and stop this progression of victories.
We had drama from start to finish, but in the end, there was only ever one that could take that top spot. And you've got to hand it to Isaac Hadjar, head and shoulders above the rest today, and victory with another impressive performance.
Well, there we are then, the first ever 1-2 finish for Cadillac in Formula 1, and what a story it has been throughout the Austrian Grand Prix today. We did dominate that one, but honestly, I think we need a few races like that over the course of the season. Cadillac 1-2 ahead of Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz finishes in P5, just ahead of Esteban Ocon. But look at that, Antonelli and Tsunoda. I mean, Antonelli from 16th on the grid finished a second behind Esteban Ocon, who started P4 in identical machinery. What a race that was by the young Italian. And yes, Tsunoda from the back row to still scoring points today. A very, very good race by him. Gabriel Bortoletto in P10 there, just ahead of Jack Doohan, who failed to score. Nikola Solov, how many times have I seen him start just inside the top 10 and finish just outside of the top 10 so far this year? Again, another weekend where his first points will have to wait. Drivers' Championship, though, we have now got a 7-point buffer ahead of Charles Leclerc, so we want to try and continue building that up as best as we can over the next few races as well, but it will also mean, of course, when we take a look at the constructors, Cadillac are a lot closer to Ferrari as well there. You can see further down the order, though, not much change. Obviously, Bortoletto with another point on the board, but still a lot of drivers yet to score so far this season, and so many of them are getting so close to doing it. Ferrari, though, 13 points clear in the Constructors' Championship now, ahead of Cadillac, so we have slashed that margin this weekend. McLaren still ahead of Mercedes and Red Bull there, with Williams ahead of Aston Martin and Kick Sauber, thanks to Bortoletto's point as well. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon ready for my home race. We will return out at Silverstone.